He was then silenced forever. His murderous scheme to sow fear and humiliation among us, but remarkably, with all their technical sophistication, they made a blunder and the outcome turned against them. How? The respect that Danny earned on both sides of the East-West divide, the goodness of his smile, and the sound of his last words became iconic personal reminders to millions of people around this planet that the current wave of violence and hatred is aimed not at a policy or a country or institute, but against the very fabric of civilized society. And Danny's last words, "I'm Jewish," immediately assumed a universal dimension and have since come to symbolize the right of every individual to assert his faith, heritage, and identity. And like the diary of Anne Frank in the 1950s, these three simple words have inspired pride and determination among young people of all denominations, and they ring today as a majestic poem to the freedom of the human spirit and its amazing capacity to weave together the dignity of being different within the sanctity of being one. People often ask us if we don't seek revenge. Yes, we do. Hatred took our son, and hatred we shall fight to the rest of our life with vengeance and tenacity. In an open letter to the people of Pakistan that I published a few months after the tragedy in Karachi, I said it quite clear. The loss of Danny will forever tear my heart, but I cannot think of a greater consolation than seeing your children here in Pakistan pointing to his picture one day and saying, "This is the kind of person I want to be. Like him. Like him, I would like to be truthful and kind and friendly and open-minded and above all, respectful of others." So this is a vision of revenge that compelled my family and myself to undertake the task of harnessing all the energy and goodwill that the tragedy had evoked and channel it toward one and only one goal, fighting the hatred that took Danny's life. Of course, we do not have the resources to move armies or conquer territories, but we do have the will, the goodwill of millions of decent and principled people around the world, Christian Jews and Muslims, Pakistanis, Israelis and Palestinians, journalists and musicians, who are determined to make a difference and help contain the tsunami of hate that has swept our planet. So what are we doing about it? The Foundation brings Muslims journalists on fellowship to work in US newspapers to directly experience free press environment and absorb the culture of fair and objective reporting. And if you buy the notion that when you invest in one journalist, you essentially invested in the enlightenment of millions of readers, then you understand the leverage that we have. And we encourage young people to find career in journalism, and we connect thousands of high schools around the world to collaborate in writing student newspapers, again, while emphasizing objective and respectful reporting. And the Foundation organizes worldwide concerts that promote unity and humanity through music. And I would like to finish this introductory remark by a message that I believe Danny sent to young people in this country. You see, the murderers miscalculated. What they miscalculated was the effect of bringing that camera into that dungeon in Karachi. Because by zooming in on Danny's face, they essentially zoomed in that camera on the face of America. They called the world attention to our children, our high school, our colleges, our teachers, our textbooks, and they exposed the court of world opinion to our principles and our values. And what emerged from that camera and vividly displayed on the screens of the world's consciousness was a fresh, old, new image of America. An American that extends a friendly hand to the less fortunate part of the world. An American that cares and listens and gives without asking in return. An American journalist who is fair and objective and who doesn't bow to conventional wisdom. An American who builds bridges between East and West, armed with a pen and a fiddle, not a rifle and a helmet, as Americans and Jews are depicted on Al Jazeera day after day and night after night. And this was not exactly the image of America that the murderers meant to advertise. So this was Danny's first revenge. But battles are won in two parallel ways: making your enemy weaker and making your troops stronger. And the battle against hatred is no different. In addition to curtailing hate in the world at large, abroad, we must boost morale here at home, especially among young people. And we consider American youngster to be semi-clone of Danny, talented, principled, giving, and friendly. And we ask ourselves, look at the kind of hatred they will be facing when they go abroad. Or watch the foreign media, or listen to some professors on the fringe of US campuses. Many of our youngsters admit to being embarrassed, even guilty of being Americans. We believe they deserve to be told, you are okay. You can be mighty proud of our American heritage and of the values and hopes that you radiate to the rest of the world. You are Daniel Pearl's kin. True, we have not been perfect, and our actions are occasionally marred with materialism, arrogance, unilateralism, selfishness, and even blatant abuse. But we are still the world's largest exporters of hope, pluralism, equality, and basic freedoms. And our heritage is still the most reliable source of values, values to which there are no alternatives anywhere. Do not let the screen of Al Jazeera and the street of Riyadh define your identity. No, you are not the bloodthirsty, baby-killing, greedy imperialist that Danny's killer and their intellectual sympathizer try to portray of you. No, you are Daniel Pearl's kin. Like him, you will be traveling the world with a pen and a fiddle, trying to figure out, trying to make sense of what you see. And like him, you will make friends with thousands of strangers of all colors and denominations, and enrich their lives with humor, music, and new insights. And like him, you will offer your humble contribution to the progress of mankind while insisting with all the stubbornness of our heritage, I am an American, I am Jewish, and I stand for sanity, decency, and courage. Let's come to our senses. To summarize, the legacy of Daniel Pearl radiates two messages to the post-9/11 world. First, to the Muslim world. We are not your enemy. We have a common enemy elsewhere, that we need to fight together. And second, to young Americans and young Jews, you have something positive to offer to this world, and the world expects you to deliver. Thank you.